Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Review.
Friday the 13th Horror at Camp Crystal is a retheming of an old game called Quartz, which is about dwarves diving for gems, of course, right? What else do dwarves do? So this takes Quartz and adds a Friday the 13th Jason Voorhees theme on top of it. Works with about the results that you would expect. The game, it's actually pretty fun. I don't mind the game. It's the best press of luck game. Probably not. Does it work okay here? Absolutely. I think it's a fun little game. If you're a fan of Jason Voorhees or Friday the 13th the series, or like me, you remember it from being a child and hearing all these rumors about these scary movies and, you know, maybe sneak a peek on HBO sometime, then you probably enjoy this. I mean, it's a little bit of a disconnect from the IP and the theme, as nobody really dies. There's no body count in this. You're really just pulling things out of a bag, these little tokens or chits, and you don't want it to be Jason. So you do have that tension and fear, like, oh, is he in there? Is he coming to get me? From that pulling out of the bag. So that is there, but really he just scares you back to the cabin, and then the next day you come back out with no repercussions at all, other than the fact that you dropped your stuff, because to run from Jason, you had to drop your things to get back to the cabin. So it's okay. I mean, it's a retheme. If I told you it was a bag drawing game and that this had already been done with a dwarf theme and now they're placing this on it, I think it works okay. Now, they go overboard in a great way to give you as much theme. The points all have like blood splattered on them, and you know, you got the meat cleaver that you're getting out of the bag and stuff, so that's really cool. But the set collection and how you're doing, it doesn't really fit in with the theme. Now, I do like the set collection. The set collection really makes this game. I'm not a huge fan of set collection. I like it. It's just not my favorite mechanism or way of scoring, but it works like here because it gives you a reason. If you have two of something, you want to go back in and get that third, because that third will allow you to double the score of something else that you have, especially like the axe or the keys that are worth a lot of points. Let's double those up. So there's a reason to go back in other than accumulate points, but to start accumulating the big points. In order to get the big points, you got to go back in that bag for the multipliers, and that works really, really well. So even things like the pan that aren't worth much by themselves, just 1 point each, if they double something else that's worth a lot, that's worth going back into that bag and risking Jason catching you for that. So that works really, really well. For me, this is probably going to be relegated to a Halloween game. If I find somebody around Halloween, hey, I got a Friday the 13th game, it's like a party atmosphere type of game, I can get anyone to play it, gateway, this will work for that. If I have anybody who's into movies or IP games, which I am, you know, I'm a sucker for these things, then this game right here will work for me. If you're just looking for the next best press your luck game, this probably isn't it. They probably knew that when they rethemed it. You know, this is something they're trying to sell based on the theme of Friday the 13th. That IP is going to be interesting to you or not. For me, it is. I like the game. I find the Quartz game very much fun. I didn't already have Quartz. Solves two problems for me, and this will be a keeper for us. Friday the 13th, a horror at Camp Crystal Lake, a board game, which might be the longest board game name ever. We have a rule book, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes. You're going to have a cool Jason bag with his mask on. I think that's really cool. And you're going to have these little chips in here. These are like little plastic chips, and they come pre-stickered, so I didn't have to do that myself, which is nice. You know, the pan and the cleaver that you'll have. So these are pretty nice. You're going to get these little wound or victory point tokens, or just blood splatters, so if you like that sort of thing. You're going to get a number of cards in here. You're going to get a number of cards in here of different stuff that you'll have. You see the classic logo on the back. I don't mind these cards. They actually work pretty well. You can see the font's a little tiny on them, and they have pictures on them. They kind of have a nice motif on them, so pretty nice there. No complaints. I have a few more tiles for the characters and the characters you want to be. And then, I'm going to open it up. You're going to get this really flimsy board. So this will be the main board that you'll be utilizing during the game. And these are your player sheets. They're like these humongous eggs. But they do give you a lot of information. They have Jason on the back. But they do tell you supply chain and the rules of the game. They do have different characters like the diva, the final girl, the jock, the partier, the nerd, and the nice guy. But they don't do anything different. They're just pictures. So these are really flimsy too. But that's the components. They're okay. I mean, they're mixed back. It's a mass market game. I don't expect a whole lot. So here's the rulebook for Friday the 13th. You open it up, you're going to get a little instruction, a table of contents, which you don't really need. Picture all the components, which is much appreciated. Set up with a little bit of a picture here and how to play the game as you go through. It's a very simple game. And then the bonus you're going to have and dropping off supplies, etc. You have a little game overview. So this is winning the game and how to start the next night. And then the overview is going to be down here. Rulebook was very easy. The game is very simple. And I found the rulebook to be very clear. Had plenty of pictures and stuff. I understood what was going on immediately. Took me about maybe less than 10 minutes to get through this rulebook. So setup for the game is pretty easy. You're going to have your character sheet here, your backpack, and then the board set up. This will track 5 nights that you'll be playing. You'll take the critical supply objective cards, shuffle them up, put them there, and then flip the first one over. And what this is going to tell you that if you leave with a pan, a flashlight, and a cleaver, and you're the first one to return to the cabin, you're going to get an additional 7 points. And the way you can do that is just take this card. And each one will just have a different thing that you want to get back to camp. Then you're going to shuffle up the fear deck. Everybody will draw 5 cards to start the game off, and then you're ready to start playing. On your turn, you can do one of 3 things. You can draw a tile from the bag, you can play one of your fear cards, or you can return to camp. So let's talk about returning to camp. At any point you want to return to camp, you take your character thing and you put it on the bravery bonus. If you're choosing to go back to camp, then you're going to get the little bonus here. So in this card, draw an extra card, draw a card. Next one, you get a victory point in a card, 2 victory points in a card, 3 victory points in a card, 4 victory points in a card. If you were to bust, then you go back on this side, and while you go back and take up a slot, you are not going to get the bonus. You only get the bonus and score for your tokens if you went back and were not murdered by Jason. So that's kind of how that works. So that's an option that you have, is to go back. The other thing is you can just play a card from your hand. These are pretty easy. Trade 1 supply from your player board with 1 from the player board of another player. So you can just trade. Just take one of theirs and then give them one of yours. You draw 3 supply tokens from the bag. You keep any or all supplies. You place any on your player board. All Jasons go back in. So just play the card and do what it says. A lot of these are take that or very beneficial to your case. Otherwise, what you're going to do, and what you're going to do majority, is on your turn, you are going to draw 1 token from the bag. That's your turn. I now have a cleaver. The next person will go, the next person will go, the next person will go. And you'll continue to draw. Oh, got a Jason. Now, I could go back on my next turn because I have a Jason. So if I get 2 Jasons, I am going to bust. So my next turn, if I draw another Jason, I bust, go back to the cabin, lose all the tokens I've generated this turn. I will not score for those, and I go back. Now, for doing that, I get one of these. Now, what one of these are going to do is next time, in the next round, there's 5 rounds, I will be able to play this, and I won't have to bust on the second one. So it gives me an extra Jason I can draw. But let's say I did not draw a Jason, I drew a cleaver, and I want to have a few more cubes that will come out. So I'm kind of pressing my luck here. Another cleaver comes out, another cleaver comes out. I get a pan that comes out. I am such a lucky drawer. Now let's say I want to go back because I drew a Jason token, which is great. So now I would go back, like I showed you before, and at the end of the turn, I would score whatever I want to score. So there's different scoring. Each of these are worth a different point value based on the rarity. So the key is worth 6, where a pan is only worth 1. But if I get 3 of a kind, which I do here, I can double one other thing. So this is worth, the cleavers are worth 4 each, so 4, 8, 12, but I can double another one. So the 6 becomes a 12, so that's 24 points and 25. And then I would just get my 25 victory points based on these blood splatters. After 5 nights, whoever has the most is the winner of the game. And the only little caveat to it is I have my backpack. So if I didn't want to score, let's say I only got 2 cleavers and not 3, or whatever, I can hold at most 2 of these back, not score them this round. They're safe whether I die or not. And then I can keep drawing if I want to. So those would be safe at the end of the round. And that's how you play this. After 5 rounds, whoever has the most points is your winner. Who should buy this game? Press Your Luck fans, dice pulling fans. You're looking for a light little party game. I think you get a lot of people who might know the Friday the 13th series or have heard of it or grew up around it. This might pull them in. Hey, you got this Friday the 13th game. Let's play this. This will be a really fun experience. I'm always on the outlook for holiday games. So something I play around Easter or Christmas or Halloween. I like having a little bit of a collection around that, 10, 15 games I can pull out. And this will definitely do it because people will recognize this. It doesn't have a lot of blood and gore and guts. There's nobody dying in it. So you can definitely, if you wanted to, play it with younger people. You don't have to worry about that atmosphere. And it still has that spooky nature to it where the bad guy is chasing you. Works great for a Halloween game. For me, it will be a keeper.